In my last post, I promised you more about Jason Calacanis' new venture, Inside.com. I believe Calacanis is missing the boat, as his previous media foray, Mahalo, did, because Inside.com has no chance to make real influency happen. We'll get there in a moment, but first, a timely aside about Google, influency, the Olympic Games, and human rights. The Olympic Games are supposed to be apolitical. It's naive to believe that the Olympics actually are as pure as we make them out to be, of course, or even that such a construct exists in the real world. But reference to the ideals from which the utopian ideas stem are actually part of the Olympic Charter, and Google quotes them in today's doodle commemorating the opening of the Sochi 2014 Games. The practice of sport is a human right. Every individual must have the possibility of practicing sport without discrimination of any kind and in the Olympic spirit, which requires mutual understanding with a spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play. Well, Google's being as political as they can be in this apolitical position. Not only has the world's leading purveyor of influency gone outside the box by including a long passage of words on their homepage, and Google never does that, but the doodle itself is a political statement. Google is supporting lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights, constructing a doodle blending sport and the LGBT rainbow flag. I have no position on Google taking a political stand, save to point out yet again that Google's as powerful and often more so than any official political entity. No one is more able to practice influency, and I both support the LGBT community and abhor the now well-documented position the Russian political machine takes toward it. But sadly, it seems there are quite a few people trolling the intertubes who disagree with the first half of that. Among other places, there are a huge number of people practicing overt hate speech about the Google LGBT doodle here, and this link is very not safe for work. And this is where we transition back to our discussion of Jason Calacanis' influency mission for Inside.com. Just as there are hate speech practitioners everywhere, people with positive outlooks also tend to gravitate toward each other. And unless you're Google, influency only happens when you're in the places where your people hang out. McDonald's and Coca-Cola don't advertise on PBS, for example, because people who want fat and sugar-heavy foods and can be influenced by commercials that they or their children see are far more likely to be watching something else. So here's and it's truncated but not edited note Jason Calacanis sent me announcing the launch of Inside.com. We decided that the best news product in the world today would have the following characteristics. 1, it would be mobile, specifically for smartphones. 2, it would be real-time. 3, it would be fact-filled. 4, it would connect folks to the world's best journalism. 5, it would respect the reader's time. When we researched the space, we found a ton of great journalism in the world, but it was being drowned out by a lot of other stuff, mainly link baiting, reblogging, and generally low-quality content. Readers need help navigating this new world filled with social media, blogging, and stories breaking in real time, be it on Reddit, Twitter, or blogs. Inside is an app that's available today on your iPhone, BlackBerry, and mobile web browser. An Android version will be coming soon, and here's how it works. You get 1,000 updates a day. Every day, a team of curators finds the 1,000 most important and fascinating stories in the world, and journalists who did the best job telling those stories. They write a 300-character update on the story and link directly to the source. These updates have a short, embedded headline generally containing 10 facts and are categorized in up to 3 topics. What they don't contain is fluff, bias, or deceptive headlines. They are designed, like our entire product, to save you time. Your personalized feed. You can vote any update up or down, which will customize your My Feed. The http inside.com/my feed is where you get the stories you care most about. There are 2 other feeds in the app, and 25 stories of the day are selected by our curators. We're sort of like Pandora for news. We're swiping the deck. We decided to use the metaphor of a feed for our app with one very important difference, the hidden deck of cards. When you're on an update about the http://inside.com State of the Union or inside.com Grammys, you can use your thumb to slide the update to the left to grab the image and reveal the previous update in that topic. With over 20,000 updates a month, you'll be able to scroll and slide the deck to your heart's delight without ever using anything other than your thumb. Note, we are not responsible for thumb fatigue or injury. In summary, we're not sure exactly where the journey will lead, but we know that news is critically important to our society, and we want to showcase the amazing journalism occurring today by doing the best curation in the world. We take our responsibility for selecting stories and sources extremely seriously, and we hope you challenge us and let us know how we're doing often. You can post your comment under any update or email the team at inside.com anytime with your thoughts. End quote. Inside.com sounds great, don't you think? It's a combination of the very last news aggregation service you'll ever need and a curation service, picking out the best of the best for you so you don't need to bother. Not only that, but Inside.com is designed for your mobile device and will only run on your mobile device. Hooray! Well, no, not hooray. First, there's reality. Inside.com will run from any browser on any computer, unless Calacanis is taking his cues from Apple, which lied about Siri not being able to run on anything other than an iPhone. This misdirection seems odd. Then again, Inside.com has been launched with an iPhone app but none for Android, so maybe that's exactly the point. Want to see Inside.com on your computer? Just click here. Next, Calacanis' announcement complains about link baiting and reblogging. Take a look at Inside.com. It's nothing but reblogging, and while a debate about link baiting would go nowhere useful, Jason Calacanis can make any statement he likes about the value Inside.com adds to the news acquisition formula, but statements and truth are two very different things. And by the way, there's nothing unique about the idea behind Inside.com. Flipboard has been combining aggregation with implied editorial selection for years. The question about Inside.com becomes this: who exactly are Inside.com's people? And while the question itself is mostly rhetorical, your answer is Jason Calacanis fans and nobody else. There was no need to replace Mahalo with Inside.com unless there's something about Inside.com that's less like a content farm and therefore less likely to incur the wrath of Google, and there isn't. So, after all of that, Inside.com rolls out as something that Jason Calacanis believes will trick Google, no. Will trick you, no. And that's unique, no. Inside.com is an attempt at manufacturing influency without the benefit of anything to be influential with or about. As I said above, the only people on whom this brand of influency works are the folks who you already have in your pocket. Example, Facebook introduced the also not terribly interesting Paper as their entry into the control what you read market this week. But Facebook has over 1 billion people to push Paper at. Now, while this might sound like a rant against Jason Calacanis, Jason, if you read this, it isn't. I think you're missing the point about journalism versus aggregation, and I take issue with the mobile-only statement and make that positioning for Inside.com. But more than anything, I'm talking about the idea that Inside.com or anyone can beat Google simply by avoiding the great race for links. Influency isn't that simple, and the optimization component is changing, but not this way. On the other hand, if Inside.com can find their tribe, then they have a shot. And of course, even AOL isn't pulling off that one. Enjoy the Olympics and fight the power. Find ways to save time, even if Inside.com isn't one of them. And if you want to talk influency, I'm right here. This is The Answer Guy, and I'll be back.